Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dojo Live this Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. My name is Kim Lantis, and it's my pleasure to be hosting along with America Guerrero.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Jaya.
Jaya Kishore Reddy. Jaya, Kishore. We're going to be calling you Kishore today as per your request. We're so happy to have you on our show, co-founder and CTO of Yellow.AI, joining us all the way from Abu Dhabi, 10 p.m. So, Kishore, you are a trooper. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Kim. Thanks, America.
Yes,
Thanks for having me here. Thanks for having me here today.
It's going to be a great conversation. We already got to banter a bit pre-show, and I know you have quite the story to tell. So before we move on specifically to Yellow.AI and more specifically conversational AI, we'd like to get to know you a bit better. Kishore, if you could please just share a bit of your story, your passion, and sort of what's led up to Yellow. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely a nice story to talk about. So, hey everyone, I'm Kishore. I'm one of the co-founders and CTO for Yellow.AI. I'm from Hyderabad, India, in southern India, and I've graduated in 2009, computer science. And I've always loved building software products, which actually changes real world problems or solves real world problems. Always fascinated by software products, and I've started working in 2009-10 in startups, and I've also worked in enterprise companies, worked on enterprise software. I've also worked in e-commerce companies. So the kind of there's a diverse experience I had throughout my career. That also, I always wanted to start my own company because I get to choose like what kind of problems I'm going to solve. So in around 2014, I started with the co-founder Raghu and Rashid, the two co-founders. So we started in 2015 on solving their very, very unique problem of connecting businesses and users over chat or messaging. So in 2015, WhatsApp, especially in emerging markets like India and Southeast Asia, and so messaging was a huge huge thing. Everybody was on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. So very interesting phenomena is that if there is even our grandparents used to, the first time they have never exposed to computers, and first time they've been exposed to the mobile, so they understand messaging than anything else. So that's what we thought of. Yeah, we thought of solving that problem of like why can't they have the similar experience in when they converse with businesses. So that's when we started off. So our journey, and then here in 7 years later, we have customers across 35 plus countries, 1,000 plus enterprise companies working with us, and 800 plus employees across the globe distributed, but primarily in India, and we are growing at rapid pace.
It sure sounds like it. 800 plus employees, 100 plus enterprise companies in 70 something.
1,000 plus in 35 plus countries.
Yes. This is crazy, especially in the span of just 8 years. So let's talk specifically, and I think it makes a lot of sense, right? With messaging feeling, I think, a lot more intuitive. It's simplified. One of the more simple things that we're able to do on our cell phones and via other platforms. So what is it exactly that Yellow.AI is doing? Like, who are you and what's the problem that you're solving?
Absolutely. So think about, so what we do is essentially automate customer support and sales for enterprise companies like Indigo Airlines, Domino's, Sephora, and it's with varied industry types. So basically, we automate customer support predominantly. So think about a use case where you have to call up airlines to cancel a ticket. I'm sure everybody has, all of us have gone through that pain of canceling a ticket on an airlines, waiting for like hours on calls, like, and then still not getting to a conclusion there. So
Yeah. In my particular case, I remember once I literally, and bless his heart, I was put through to an agent and I could not understand. I physically could not understand what it was that he was telling me. And I remember asking a couple times, very apologetic, I'm sorry, like I'm struggling to understand what you're saying. Could you please transfer me to someone else? And that transfer never took place. I literally had to hang up and just call back in and start from zero. And yeah.
It's interesting that so there's $1 trillion plus spent specifically on customer support to improve the customer experience for the end users. But then
that was
hardly
trillion
1%,
with a
$1
T.
trillion, yeah, $1 trillion every year. It's every year is spent on customer support, and 1% of the users are happy with the customer support they get. So that's that kind of that. So that's the main problem that we solve. So we automate a majority of the support that customers get with this from these enterprises. So imagine you call up Indigo Airlines to cancel the ticket. What if it's just I need to cancel the ticket, or you call up and just say I need to cancel my ticket rather than waiting for an agent. You can just pick up the phone and say I need to cancel the ticket. Yeah, it's done in like few seconds. So that's the experience that we provide as Yellow.AI.
Wow. And it seems so simple on the face of it. Like I message you, this is me. I can confirm that this is me, cancel my ticket. And then they say canceled. But what's happening on the back end
I would have
incredibly complex.
Yes. I think it's I would have oversimplified what it looks like as the term conversational AI. But we all are like fascinated by chatbots, right? When we've seen sci-fi movies, and computer talking to a human is always fascinating. So right, I think it's the idea has been there, always there for like decades, but then it has picked up over the last 5 to 10 years because the advancements in ML specifically, and the compute, right, to process that kind of a data in the last 5 to 10 years, getting these GPUs and machine learning models, and so that's when it started picking up, and then we started seeing more real world use cases being solved by chatbots. So that's when the word conversational AI is also coined, and when the social channels started opening up their platforms like WhatsApp and Facebook, where you can actually build on the top of these messaging platforms and then provide customer support or sales or any other use case for that matter.
It's fascinating. You mentioned just 1% of people traditionally being satisfied with their customer experience. How has this increased, with your experience in via conversational AI? Is there an increase in that? Like what percentage? How does that compare?
So I have some stats around that. Around 77% of the customers they feel that chatbots they would prefer to talk to a bot rather than a human, because they get stuff answered pretty fast. I mean, pretty quickly, because rather than waiting for long hours, right? We have seen that in the and that trend is more with millennials, right? They often they don't want to converse with an agent and wait for a long time. And also there is a 70% drop in the in the cost equation. So basically, there's a 70% reduction in the cost for enterprises where they don't have to have as many agents supporting the customers. It's win-win, right? You are able to reduce the support cost, at the same time you are able to increase the engagement or improve the satisfaction for your users. So that's a
I have a
win-win for both.
question.
Yes.
Yes, you mentioned that you can also utilize conversational AI on your company with sales. Am I right? Did you say that?
Yes.
Yes. How does it work exactly with the AI component? Because I remember we had a show. I don't remember the name of the guest right now, but basically the conversation was that mobile messaging is now a big boom, and you can utilize this new channel because it's not that common out there. And so,
Sending the sales
yes,
requests via message. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
exactly.
So imagine like you. I know it's all after 8 years. It's all coming together. I felt like it's all coming together when I was traveling to Bangalore, and I booked my flight ticket on a chatbot, our chatbot on Indigo Airlines, and then I booked my ticket. And after some time, I've booked my hotel through Taj Hotels chatbot, again powered by Yellow.AI. And then after, I took my travel insurance on Bajaj General Insurance website, and then it's all on our bot. And then when I did my web check-in on Indigo bot, it was all seamless, and it felt like it covered customer support to sales, because where I'm buying the ticket on the bot itself. So I need to book a ticket from Abu Dhabi to Bangalore, and it gives me, hey, here are the options. I just go click, and then I buy it. So this is the sales use case. If I have to book an appointment with a dentist, I just go. I need to book an appointment at 4 p.m. tomorrow with the dentist. So it's as simple as that. So that's from sales use cases to e-commerce use cases and support. So all of it is can be enabled through conversational AI.
I'm curious when you talk about these types of transactions. I speak for myself when I'm very much. I like to be in control, I suppose. I like to be able to see all of the options that are available to me. I'm the type of person who will read through reviews and, check things, and I like to price check. What would this type of interaction look like conversationally with a chat bot? Am I still able to have all of these options available to me? Or does it streamline them for me? Like, this is my price. That's too expensive. I need something cheaper. Or what does that look like?
Yeah, so that's that's the evolution of the conversational AI going to be, right? So what it was like when it started versus what it's going to be in the future. So when for now, so basically the complex interaction between human, it might not be able to enable as personalized or as complex information or complex interaction, but a lot of repetitive things, or like some things with us which is context aware or connecting to the history of the interaction that you had with with the with the business before. So combining all those and then personalizing to some aspect of it is going to be possible today, but lot more more empathized conversations with as a human is still not possible with conversational layer. That's the future aspect of like how it is going to evolve in the coming years. And now even enabling the agents to have a better interaction with the customers is also conversational AI. So how does conversational AI enable the agents who are sitting in the back end, who are talking to the customer, so how they get assisted with the conversational AI? That itself is also a big step up in terms of customer experience. So
wow. Like queuing and tipping me off in terms of, I don't know, bringing our cancellation policy to my fingertips so that I can read through it? Or
They just quickly ask the bot. It just brings up, and get while the customer is on the call, he does stuff pretty quickly rather than searching over like multiple systems, right? So just to add a complexity there for the agent, right? What if the agent doesn't know the language that the end customer is conversing in? So the moment that goes into place, what if we have a chatbot which just translates what's happening with the user, and then bot will be conversing with the end user, but then the agent can actually type in their language, and then it gets translated and then spoken on the call, over the call in real time. That's again
the future of
that's the
conversation.
future. Yeah, conversational AI.
Wow, all of this has working, I guess, to develop. That's absolutely fascinating. And I think you brought up a really great point, something that, up until now, we've really been talking about how conversational AI is transforming the customer experience, but then also how that's transforming the agent's experience, in terms of just work environment, in terms of efficiency for the enterprise itself. So I can see why this is, of course, appealing to me as a customer and saving my time, my effort, energy, and those types of things. Let's talk about that flip side then. Like, what are some of the advantages to the enterprises who are choosing to utilize the conversational AI path in their customer experience?
So we talked about customer experience in general, how it is. So for enterprises, it's the cost. They're going to reduce the cost with much better customer satisfaction. And there's another aspect of conversational AI which is not end user facing. It's employee experience and then productivity. So that's another important aspect where conversational AI solves. So I imagine I just need to take a couple of days leave, right? In the current world, you have to actually bring up the systems that there's a leave management system. You have to bring it up, and you have to create a request, and you have to submit a request, and you might not know when the leave request is going to get approved, or you just need to just search for some policies, right? What is the leave policy, or like what is a maternity leave policy, or in general, there are so many questions that or I just need to raise a reimbursement request. And there are multiple systems. They are not just one system to do all of these. There are multiple systems for employee in an enterprise. So we might ourselves with 1,000 people or 800 people company. So we have so many systems to navigate through for every single thing. So we have employee experience bot as we basically you can build multiple use cases on the platform. It can be employee use cases or end user use cases. So you can it connects with multiple systems in the backend, and you will be able to do all these different day-to-day things that you don't have to interact with like 10 systems or like 15 systems. You just interact with one bot out there. Hey Mia, I need to apply for a leave, and then it just goes and it creates a request, and manager gets hey, this guy wants to apply for a leave on so and so day. Do you want to approve it? Yes, I want to approve it. Then there itself on their desktop. So it's so seamless, and the productivity increases like tremendous there.
Wow, yeah, that's fascinating. And I think you bring up my next question, that's the ability to sort of personalize what's happening. I would like to talk about sort of, I don't know, the interface of what Yellow.AI has built out. I mean, if you've got, I think you named a couple, I think you mentioned Domino's, Sephora, I don't remember, I think you named one or two other companies that are utilizing your service. Obviously, Domino's Pizza and Sephora are quite distinct verticals, different markets.
Yes.
How are you able to, quote unquote, teach what needs to be asked, or just anticipate the types of conversations that are going to be happening via these chatbots? I mean, talking about foundation colors and pepperoni are completely different vocabularies. How do you anticipate that? What does it look like in terms of setting things up and then growing with the information that's that's then in the interactions that are then happening?
So let me answer that question in like multiple stages, right? So how conversationally, when we started off, so there were a bunch of customers who wanted to reduce their support costs and also increase their revenue by being available on these new age messaging channels for their end users. So they should be able to, so that is a BFS, it's a BFSI customer, initial customers of us and insurance companies. They wanted to reduce support costs and they wanted to be available on messaging channels. That was the use case. And we started started coding those use cases ourselves manually. Hey, if these kind of queries come, this is what you need to do. These are the systems you need to connect. So we started building that. We didn't have a product at that time, like 7 years ago when we started off. So we started coding all those uh, use case by use case.
This is
And
just
then,
like a giant flow chart, basically.
yeah, they have giant flow chart uh, coded on the computer, right? So that's what we did. So that's when we realized that, okay, now we need to get the results. Are we able to see reduction in the support costs? Are we seeing any increase in the revenue? Yes. And then we did that. We were able to reduce cost by 30% and increase revenue by 20%. And then, okay, now let's do it. Now, how do we make it repeatable? Okay, how do we code these flows quickly for lot of customers, right? So how do we do that? So we started enabling our customers to code these use cases themselves. So you can code, hey, this is what my bot flow should look like. This is the flow chat, or we started enabling them to code it. So, but then they still have to code them manually, use case by use case, and then get it. And then at this point in time, our NLP capabilities are like, first we did localized, our natural language understanding was localized. So they can only understand the specifics of that particular use case. By the version 2, we made it more repeatable, and then our language understanding has become much more global plus local, and then it's so it understood a lot more use cases. That's what I can put. And then the version 3 of it right now, which what it is like today, you can go to Yellow.AI platform. I need to build a chatbot for Dojo Live. I can just go sign up on the platform, and you can actually sorry is my connectivity okay?
Yeah, your connectivity is just fine.
Oh, okay. So um, by the version 3 of the platform, you will be able to create now you'll be able to create use cases, drag and drop. You can build as a flow chat and then deploy it. And now the language understanding has become so mature that it has learned over billions of conversations that have happened on our platform, and with real world use cases. So the language understanding is like much more mature and much more global uh, 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 in that way. So
I have a question.
yes, sorry.
Sorry for interrupting, but I need to say it. I'm imagining that Domino's is a big company, and they must. I'm guessing that they have their engineering team, so they can code, because you mentioned that you need to code like your own information in this platform in order to get your bots. So am I right? So, for example, what happens if I'm a small company and I don't have an engineering team? So how is the interaction, or how intuitive is this platform for a small company that they don't have this big journey as Domino's, but they want to have this technological innovation? Do
Yeah.
you provide like a consulting service so they can build their own code?
Yeah. So that's how we transitioned over the last few years, right? We were more consulting heavy to we started building the product when we started working with the enterprise companies, and now we have a completely no code motion, no need to code any use case. So you just need to drag and drop, and then you can use case can be ready with a free trial on our website. And then with from enterprise sales motion, even though we have enterprise sales motion now, so now we are like more towards like enabling SMBs, or for that matter business folks building these use cases pretty quickly. So now it's completely uh, 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 extremely low touch, and you can actually go and create your own bot on Yellow.AI platform with multiple templates to choose from, and you can get started pretty quickly.
That's fascinating. We're coming into the final few minutes of our show, and I wanted to bring it back to Yellow.AI specifically, in the terms of, I think it's amazing what you're able to do with conversational AI. I think I'm sold in the sense of how this impacts both the customer experience as well as the enterprise and business itself. And I think, of course, it is the way of the future, right? It's completely accessible. It's what everyone is so used to. You mentioned the millennials and everyone just feeling more and more comfortable with this type of dynamic. I think eventually there's never going to be a 100%, human. I don't feel a 100% human replacement. Like there's always going to come that point where, okay, time to step in, agent, right? And I think it's fascinating that you have the support for the agents as well in terms of the technology. But I did want to bring it back to the company. And that is what you mentioned in terms of your growth, right? 7-8 years, up to like 800 people, completely international. As a co-founder and as a leader, is there anything that you could share with other people like you who are maybe coming into this giant growth that they never really anticipated, of a do's and a don'ts, like words of wisdom here of when you're experiencing hyper growth, be sure to fill in the blank. And when you're experiencing hyper growth, be sure to not, right? Fill in the blank. What was this experience like for you and your co-founders?
Yeah, there are a lot of I feel that we were very blind in that way. We were like, we did not see any. We did not anticipate that the growth is going to be this big. But we were always like, we had a blind faith, like, yes, this is going to work. Like, why? If I look back and few years back, how we were thinking, I was like, how can we be so stupid? Like, it's not obvious. But then at that point in time, we were like, yeah, we had a blind faith. Yeah, this is the only way to execute. Um, but then now that the problems that you would face when if I have to start again, probably I might not be able to execute with the same confidence, because now I know the problems. At that time, we didn't know the problems. We were like, we're going to execute. That's it. We just had a blind faith, right? I think go with that. Don't worry about whether it's going to work or not work. You just need to go with your gut feel.
The invincibility of youth, right?
Yeah, you just have to keep trying, keep trying, keep pivoting. Keep changing. You keep course correcting yourselves as you go, but keep trying. Don't. That's what I feel one should be doing.
I love it. Just trust your gut, go with it. And I think course correcting, I think is of course something that's going to be inevitable. I think that's beautiful. In terms of your company culture, what is it like working with Yellow? Who do you look for? What type of characteristics are you building in your company and the people that...
You're a great place to work, certificated company, right?
Yeah. Great place to work, certified company. I think we when you just come to work in Yellow, right? It's just every day is so challenging and stimulating. That's one word I would love to use, right? It's stimulating, good way, bad way, in whichever way. It's going to be very stimulating. It's on because the market is so huge and there's so much to do, and conversational AI itself is evolving. It's going to be evolving for the next 10 years. So it's going to be very stimulating. And for us, it's a very enjoyable journey, I would say. As a culture, we especially in engineering, right? We always love to solve problems on a day-to-day basis, and keep discussing problems and solutions. But then we hang out a lot more than we solve problems. We ride together on bike rides, and we go on multiple trips together, and it's a fun culture in Yellow.
I love it. Yeah, I think there's that bond, right? That is really important to companies, and conversational, right? I think
Yeah.
if you're going to be working on something that's supposed to emulate the human experience as much as possible, it's important to always have that human experience in mind. Well, thank you very much, Kishore, for joining us today. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our half hour already, if you can believe it or not. It was a pleasure learning from you and learning about Yellow.
Awesome. Pleasure is mine as well.
Yes.
Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. Stick around for just 1 minute as we go off air. But before we do, we'd like to introduce tomorrow's show.
Woo! Yes, tomorrow we're going to have another show with Danielle Kivan. She is Vice President of Finance at Paddle, and the topic is going to be about payments and billings, choosing the finance stack for your SaaS. How to choose the best finance stack for your SaaS company, and why do you should begin with the end in mind. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be a good show for sure. Always looking forward to it. Join us tomorrow. And until then, stay safe, everyone. Kishore, thank you once again. And good luck to you and Yellow.
Thank you so much.
The next 10 years of trailblazing conversational AI.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thanks, America.